So another year has come and gone, which means it is time again to talk about the best and worst anime of that year. And as always around here, we're going to start off with the negative because I like to end things on a positive note. Having said that, I was really dreading counting up this year's anime I watched because I actually felt that this was a much worse year for anime than what we've been getting as of late. Turns out, though, when I sat down and counted it out, actually it wasn't so bad. I just realized there was one really bad show that just put a black cloud over me this whole time. I'm sure we'll fucking talk about that when we get to it. But for right now, if you've been here a while, you know how this goes. I didn't hate everything I watched this year. I generally try to avoid the things that look like crap to begin with. So everything here was stuff that ultimately let me down. So the first few things here are not really terrible shows, just shows that I feel like are lacking something, which we'll get into as we talk about them. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 10. So the Fruit of Evolution, before I knew it, I had it made. I actually thought this could have been a lot more better than it is. I think the premise of like an isekai about the class loser who is just a goofy loser, there's really nothing special about him, and having to kind of build himself up and falls in love with a gorilla who turns into a hot redhead. I don't know, I thought this could have been funny, but as it stands, it's just kind of a okay, whatever, forget and you'll miss it show. Because he does turn into the sexy, overpowered hero. When she turns into a human, she is just perfect girl waifu. There's a harem. There's a boring villain conspiracy. It's just all the stuff you see over and over again in these kinds of shows. And it's one of those things where it's like, and I've said this before, don't settle, try for better, or else you end up on a worst of the year list. Number 9. So to repeat myself from my review of Burning Kabaddi, putting it simply, while it's cool to get an anime about a sport most Westerners know nothing about, if you're looking for better actual scenes of sports, there's better anime for that. If you're looking for better plot, there's better anime for that. If you're looking for better characters, there's better anime for that. If you are looking for hot guys doing sports for a lady to flick their bean to, there's better anime for that. Number 8. So to be honest, I really didn't care one way or another about Yashahime half-demon princesses, but after seeing how much this show really pissed off the fandom, it kind of really did have me take their side and saying, show pretty much sucks. The new characters are boring, minus the one who naturally gets no screen time. The plot is bad, the new villains are bad, the animation is nothing to write home about. And for a series that like really had an effect on people, to kind of see the treatment it gets treated here just being treated like any other generic mediocre shonen, yeah, I get why this would piss a lot of people off, and slowly it wound up pissing me off too. Okay, look, I know number 7 is gonna piss a lot of people off, but I can't help it. I really hated Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm sorry, anime community, but this show just sucks. I really didn't like any of the characters. The plot is generic. Everything is annoying. The animation, I was like, oh, it looks so good. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Everything looks like this now. All the fights are bad because like it's just people throwing each other through walls and long explanations for what just amounts to just a big laser and a kaboom. That's it. This is every bad generic shonen. This is why I like Black Clover now, because it's not Jujutsu Kaisen. Number 6. So I know some people did like Higurashi 2020 and felt it was a good continuation of the original from the early 2000s. But I never watched that original show, so I only have this to go by. And if I went based on this, I would never check that show out. Man, this sucked. I reviewed this one as well, so to sum my thoughts up from that, it's just not very interesting. I hated every character. The plot's not really exciting or really that entertaining. The time loop gimmick, people love that. I got so tired of it by the end. It wasn't even just entertaining anymore. The animation's weird and strangely bright, and just everything about this just like is so the opposite of just what I ever seek in a show. And just like the twist it's going for at the end, I feel like create their own like problems and weird issues, and just an all-around unpleasant experience. And no, I didn't watch the second half, nor did I watch the Yashahime second half. I have better things to do with my time, like watch paint dry. Number 5. Ha 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 ha. I was right and you were wrong. It's Tack Top Destiny. The plot is generic. The characters are boring. Nothing makes sense. The only thing that was good was the animation. This show was actually very good looking, but it only gets you so far. We had this premise last year with listeners, and that was way better than this. You all knew it was bad by the end, but I got there first, so ha 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 ha. I win, you lose. Higurashi, after being rejected, I shaved and took in a high school runaway. That's not a title, that is a premise. Yeah, so people have pointed out to me the various times I've brought this show up that people did like this, and to be fair, there's a great anime trying to get out here, but Jesus Christ, when you're having it that the guy is trying to tell the girl who only understands to use her body to get by in life that you don't have to do that, but while that's going on, all the camera is showing me is her fucking camel toe while she's in lingerie? There's a problem. There's a very big problem here. And it's throughout the show. They won't stop sexualizing this girl. And look, don't get me wrong, she's hot. I have no problem with sexualizing anime high school girls. It's fine. Don't do it in a show that's supposed to be against it. Why do I have to explain this? It's throughout the show. Like, you got like his big tittied boss who's got like her erect nipples through the shirt at one point. It's just this. The whole show is this. There's a couple other problems to point out, and there are a lot of strong moments here, but Jesus Christ! I've never seen a show's concept fighting so hard against a cynical studio that just wants a waifu for them to market. And make no mistake, they announced several prototypes for figures of this chick, like while the show was airing. I don't think any of them have been made yet. So I know I normally try to not include shows that are still ongoing at the time of recording, but goddamn Platinum End is bad. It needs to be talked about now. It's that bad. Let's start off with the basics. The main character sucks. He's whiny. All he does is complain. He never does anything. He's just kind of there. And you could be like, well, the point is he's depressed and not well and blah, blah, blah. It's not done well. It's not. This show represents depression with the most just baseline understanding. It's mostly just edginess. Like, just edgelord bullshit as characters just, like, complain and like gawk at their own edginess. The show loves gratuitous violence and at times gratuitous nudity. It has some really wonky and weird animation at times that really lets it down, which sucks because I do think the fights look good, as few as there are when the show isn't just based around people whining about their problems. The villain is bad. Nothing about it makes any sense. Nothing about this world makes any sense. It's just a bad show, and make no mistake, I will probably stick the other 12 episodes here just to make fun of them more next year. Number 2. The world's finest assassin has been reincarnated as an aristocrat. Once again, this is not a title, this is a premise, and this show is just one goddamn big headache. Oh, boy. So, yeah, it's just another isekai where a person just gets brought in and he's just Mr. Perfect. He has no arc. He does not grow. He is just perfect at everything right off the bat. His moral journey, while a little bit more interesting in this show than some, is basically just summed up as, oh, he just always does the right thing all the time anyways. They talk a lot about moral ambiguity, but it's never really brought up. Fight scenes have no tension because he's just perfect and invincible all the fucking time. Once again, you have the harem. They talk a lot about sexual assault in this show, which is awkward when the girls all then get fan service to no end. And also remember, they spend a lot of the story being 12 and 14. And yeah, it's bad. I didn't like it. I didn't like any of it. If I wasn't groaning, I was just bored. It's bad. Don't watch it. Number one. I don't know what the gimmicks to me saying the numbers has been in this video. I just made it all up as I went and forgot about it a few times. Woo! So yeah, at the beginning of this year, we had an anime that filled us all with so much joy and happiness at its potential. Wonder Egg Priority had the strongest start of an anime has had in a long time. And it had an amazing, perfect first 10 episodes. But it all was destroyed and ruined in what will forever be remembered as one of just the biggest downfalls in anime history. That'll have repercussions on the industry and potentially push back what kind of dramatic storytelling people are willing to talk about in anime when it comes to more serious subjects. But fuck that shit. I'm saying I'm standing on a million lives. Holy Jesus Christ, this was bad. Like, fuck me, this was terrible. Like, oh my god, where do I even begin with this one? So, it's another isekai. Big shocker. It's about main character boy who gets sent to the other world. And he's the worst character ever. He's so fucking awful. Like, no character except I'm just sad moody boy. I'm sad moody boy. Just all the time. I'm just edgy for no reason. They give you no reason for anything. He just is the worst. There's of course waifus. And they're the most generic, by the numbers, female characters ever. Like, literally, they just look like the characters from a Draw Anime Characters book you got at Barnes & Noble in 2005. The animation is terrible. Like, it looks really ugly. It's a bad-looking show. I don't like looking at it. Keep it away from me. Just everything about it is just the worst. Like, a lot of people say isekai anime at this point are just on autopilot, and this is that. No one is trying, no one is interested in what is going on, because then they'd realize the show has some pretty negative, harmful messages. I think people could really see some fucked up shit in this show. And it's just terrible. So even though Wonder Egg Priority ends on the lower note, this thing never got close to a high note to even save its life. Just pure crap from start to finish. But so yeah, no, that was my list of the worst anime in 2021. Again, most of what I watched this year wasn't that bad. Most of these were just like lackluster, except for that last one. That was fucking awful. But tell me what shows you hated in the comments section below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next time where we talk about the best shows of the year.